Here we are on Salisbury Plain, not too far from Stonehenge itself, which is further to the east, quite close to Airman's Cross. Both are of historical interest to a certain degree in that Stonehenge, of course, is famous for its Iron Age connections and has mystified archaeologists and historians for some time, whereas Airman's Cross is so named as it's, sadly, the site of the first fatal air crash for the then-fledgling Royal Air Force back in 1915, which has its birthplace up the road at Larkhill, current home of the Army's Artillery School. So, taking bridges as our theme, what we are looking to demo today is the potential of pre-programmed flight. Our bridge is one of time. This is an ancient landscape over which, stepping forward 5 years to 2030 and taking a virtual pod tour. Stonehenge and the other stone circles, of course, are very visible and famous features in the Wiltshire landscape, but what's not visible are some of the lesser-known sites of antiquity. This is where the drone comes into its own. So, I now want you to imagine in 5 years' time you've arrived at the visitor centre at Stonehenge, and in addition to your visit to see the stones, you've booked an electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL sightseeing pod. This pod is going to take you to sightsee some of these not-so-obvious signs on the ground of early inhabitation set in the beautiful Wiltshire countryside. So, sit back and enjoy the ride. Most visible are the various Tumilis. Neolithic man loved his circles, and these are apparent throughout the landscape as we drift slowly by, but not all the time, as we will see later. Moving on, we are passing an example of a dew pond. Dew ponds are actually fed by rainwater, and they are normally situated in a slight depression, so that there is a reasonable-sized catchment area for rain. The amount of dew falling in a year is around ½ an inch, whereas the rainfall will be between 30 and 40 inches a year. The water retention properties of the dew ponds lay in their making, and the appreciation of the margins of the pond as a catchment area. The bottom layer of the pond was puddled chalk or clay, which was normally covered by straw, laid as it would have been on a thatched roof. This was then covered by a mixture of loose materials, such as chalk rubble, sand, flints, or gravel. I have no idea how old this one is. As we move away, you will see in the distance, mid to top, right off the shot, another Tumili. This is known as the Conigar Tumili. It has been excavated, and they have found various artifacts, including daggers, beads, and bones of sheep, but no human remains. As we move further away, back over the barn, if you look carefully to continue the bridge theme, you will see the bridge that takes the cattle across the River Till, down to the farm for milking. Now, as we speed towards the end of our journey, you will catch sight of what is believed to be an ancient settlement, and you will see that our Neolithic man's preference for circles has given way to squares and straight lines. This would suggest storage areas and furrowed earth for farming, but nobody is sure. Okay, so now we're coming into land safely, I hope. So, thank you for staying with us. I know we have played tourist for this flight, but tourists can be replaced by civil engineers, architects, farmers, looking to survey, photograph, or just sight-see the projects, sites, crops, and animals without having to stump up the cost of a helicopter or learn how to fly. And again, with the right software on board, you can carry out a variety of these assignments